Hello, hello. I won't keep you too. Oh, I'll get my words out right. I won't keep you too long. Let's start this thing. That's to be done. It had to be. What? It had to be done. It's episode 4 for crying out loud. Right. So we'll carry on with this now. As I just said before, the music bit. In reality, I've just matte coated that, and it looks even better now without all that shine. So I can do some of the pastel works that I need to do. Right. So a few videos back, and I can't find the original clip anymore. I've had a look, and I can't find it, and I think I've binned it. Anyway, one of the earlier episodes I mentioned that there was somebody posted on one of the groups about not worrying too much about the base coat. Literally 2 days after I said that, Ant got in touch and said, yeah, here's my bundles and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my god, it's you, can I nick that piece? And he said, yeah, of course you can. So I've posted that to the Facebook page, and I've posted that to the website as well, as part of my blogging thing that I'm supposed to be doing, but I never really do. So links are underneath. I really do suggest that you have a look at that article that he wrote. Great stuff. He says it miles better than I ever could about not worrying about your base coat. Right, enough of that twaddle. I'm off to do some pasteling work, and I shall see you at the end of the video. Okay, so moving on to the cockpit. Just trim the main cockpit parts away from the frames. As you can see, I've not actually bodged it all together properly yet. So I'm just trying to figure out where I need to still prime. Because obviously if you're priming on the frames, you don't quite hit everything. So at the back of this piece here, I still need to do this area, and on the underside, in the mush, grilly, canny bay type thing, get off. So I need to catch all under there. Obviously that's the face of the cannons, but I need to catch this edge here, this one. I need to catch that edge there as well. So there's still a little bit of work to do. It's not quite there yet. And then I need to just catch on the back side of this edge again. And you get this little panel here that pops off, so that you can display it. This is the underside, and obviously the rest of the body comes this way, and you get the pods here. This actually pops away, like so, which looks like an undercarriage bay. I could be wrong. Quite off the arm. Oh, I'll find it in a minute. Yeah, that's where the undercarriage goes. Right, that's it. I'm going to go off and photocopy this because that's getting a bit silly now, folding this out. So, yes, Adam, you had the best idea ever when you photocopied all this. So I'm going to have to take this and work with me. Stuff the boss. I'm going to photocopy that. So that's that little door there that pops off, which then reveals the undercarriage type thing that you can put in, and then the hole for displaying it looks like it's there, but I've not got that far yet. So we will get there. We'll get there. So I'm just going to very quickly off camera prime those again. Ooh, that didn't sound happy. Let go crack. Never mind. Yeah, so I'll finish priming those up properly off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll do some panel lining. Yes, panel lining, pre-shading. Oh, it's been a long day. So I'm trying out my new Iwata. No, hang on. Try that again. Trying out my new Neo 4 Iwata. Wow, that hurt my brain. Neo 4 Iwata. One of these things. I got a couple for Christmas. It's my box lid. I'll tell you what, I'll just show you the other one. I've got a couple for Christmas. One off the girlfriend, one off another family member. And oh. So I got 2 airbrushes for the price of the old one. Because the old one's a little bit, it's feeling poorly. It's not the original spring in it. I lost that very, very early on in its career. It's now nearly 10 years old and it's starting to show its age. So we'll give these Neos a quick blast, see what they're like. So in the cup I've just got a quantity of X20A. I'm going to mix it with some XF85 rubber black. I keep calling it tile black, which is very naughty of me. So it's just a quantity, just nothing scientific. I'm going to add roughly a third. So it's roughly a 2 parts thinner to 1 part paint mix so far, which might need tweaking a little bit. I'm just going to mix all that together even with a brush and see what that looks like in a second or two. Now I'm happy with the way it runs down the edge of the cup. What I'm aiming for here now is a little bit of pre-shading on the cockpit. I'm not going to do so much on the fuselage. I'm just going to concentrate on the cockpit more than anything. So hook up the power supply again. Power supply? Air supply even. Oh my words today. Right, so on a bit of scrap paper, I'm just going to test the flow. Just see what that looks like. I'm happy enough with that. Oh, it's nice to have a trigger that works again. Oh, that really is. So, what we're aiming for now is, just find out, make sure there's no address on it. I'm just going to ease in with the trigger. I'm barely pushing down, so there's hardly any air coming through, and I'm just going to tease back a little bit with the needle. So we're after really fine lines. Oh, I do like that. That's a lot better than my Revolution. My Revolution's had it. So that's kind of the effect we're after. And literally, everywhere we see a line here now, we're going to ignore the spangs completely. But where we see these little panel lines, we're going to start off the piece. Oops, too big. Never mind, we'll fade that back. It's not a problem. If you do find that you hit it too much, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Don't be too neat and precise with it either, otherwise it looks like perfect grids and things like that. We don't want that. That's not natural. Try and be a little bit dynamic and fluid. We're using the thinner paint too, so that it's ghosted on rather than a really stark contrast paint. Shadowing here. Don't forget, move the piece to suit you. Some just at the back here, where the cockpit goes into. Couldn't find my words then. Lovely stuff. I do like this airbrush. I've loads of guys getting in touch with me saying, don't get one of those, they're rubbish. Oh, I love it. Compared to the control I've got on that Revolution, considering the price of that Revolution and the way I broke it. Oh, I do like this. That's the kind of effect we're after. Hopefully all that was in shot, because I've just noticed now as I looked up, I managed to find a gap between, you'll see the video of the view that I normally get, but I've managed to find a gap between the screen here and the frame. The only thing is I end up doing this kind of thing, because I'm trying to get everything in one shot. So I'll do it again with the underside. And then we'll add some shadow where the yellow stripes go. We'll add some shadows for the cannons. Like so. That'll do. Lovely. Now if you really wanted to, where these little screw heads are, you could just colour those in as well and colour a couple of the spangles in, but if you do that now, there's too much going on. I think I was out of shot again. Like a silly man. There's so much detail here now on this back piece. You can't really appreciate too much, because it's that busy going on. Just have a few squiggles at the back there. So it's nothing, overly elaborate. I'll get some on this piece as well. Some shadow back there, and that piece. Like so. Yeah, keep broke. So I'm going to take the Vallejo model there, grey white, just give it a final shake, and then straight into the colour cup. I'll have the massive one on. Quick blow through, quick test, and we'll literally very, very, very gently going to ghost it over the top. We're not going to smack it all in one go, just nice thin coats again. so we've still got all the pre-shading showing through. And just build it up slowly. Now on camera you won't be able to see what I'm doing there, I don't think. But I'm now using the fine control of the airbrush just to pick out the centres of the panels and just ease them in. So we're still leaving that lovely tonal variation there that you can just about make out. It's literally just little squiggles, and I'll show you properly on the underside in a moment. Nice big heavy one there. But you're doing this, just keep an eye on the end of your needle, just make sure there's no paint build up. Because what's happening whilst we're spraying, we're blowing air over. Oh, I can't get it off, get it off. Blowing air over the end of that needle. Now there's a little bit of paint build up there. So as the paint's coming through, it's actually drying on the needle because of this little vortex that we've got going on. See me, talking science. I can't get the cap back on, there we go. Alrighty, just come back in with this one. It's the same thing again. Just build it up nice and gentle. Just leave the pre-shade showing through. So normally I'd have the biggest strats fan going off, but I want to be able to talk you through what I'm doing here. So if I just pick out this little panel here, so that's the kind of action we're going for on the final panels that we're doing. So once you've done your initial base coat, like so, you come back, just have the little squiggles. So it's literally a squiggly motion that we're doing. Like I say, underneath it's not that bothered. I'm not that bothered about. Hopefully we can make that out now. Just adding the sensors into the panels. Literally is just little squiggles. Just get the back edge there, like so. Just a couple there. just hit that front end just a little bit. Front edge a little bit too, like so. So we've still got the faded effect. Happy enough with that. Happy with that, happy with that, happy with that. Make that one there. Like so. So in a moment, let's get a size of that a bit more. I'll test that against where the landing gear goes to see if we've got a similar match. Now on the yellow parts, because of how dark grey they are, the yellow isn't going to work straight over the top of that, so we're going to lighten it a little bit first by using this same light grey colour. So it's literally just a dust coat, just lighten it, like so, which will then help the yellow stand out a little bit more. Ooh, that piston didn't sound happy then. So that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that. Right, I think we're done for that colour for the time being. Just going to punch that panel there up there. There we go. Okay, so quick colour change. I'm going to take that cap off this time. And just use the mini barrel. I like that. I do like that. That saves so much messing about now. It really does. So I'm just going to add literally just a few drops in there, just to catch these yellow parts. Hardy up, like so. Now I'm using the yellow paint for, the engine nacelles too. I'm going to finish doing this and I'll talk to you. So I'm going to be using this same yellow for around the yellow band around the nose cone or nacelle or whichever part it is. We'll get to it eventually. So again, we're just going to ghost it on, not smack it all down in one go. Let that dry back a little bit. And then if we need to, we'll add an extra layer of colour over the top of that. I'm fairly happy with how that is already. So I'm just going to cut to air, just going to leave the trigger all the way forward and push down for air. What this will do, the shiny spots, it'll just dry them off a little bit. Now, it won't dry the paint completely, it's just enough to give me an idea of what this paint looks like without that shine. So I'm not happy enough with that bottom corner there, so I'll just add some more. There we go, that's more like it. That's more like it. Just cut back to air again, leave the trigger all the way forward. I like that. We'll do the same here now. Trigger all the way forward, just push down for air, dry that back a little bit. Just give me an idea, and then very lightly just add the next layer of paint. Especially that centre panel there, we go. That's the one. I like that. I do like that. Let's have a quick look at this now then, shall we? And see what's what. So we've got those in, we've got those, we've got those. All this should have dried by now anyway. It's been a couple of hours. So bring all that back in. Now the front cannon face guardy piece type thing, I've actually left that in the primer colour. Because from the looks of it, you're not going to see much of that anyway. Let's get this blooming roadmap out again. I've deliberately left the cannons off just for now, so that we can not knock those about. But basically those front nose cannons that go into this faceplate will be done the same way that we've done the cockpit halves so far. Hopefully that made sense. That's not that one, that's this one. So I'll just plug that in there. Hello. Apparently I'm talking out my bum. That is that one. Oy. So now we're kind of getting the impression of what goes where and why. Oh, beautiful. I like that. I do like that. So that can go there. It's right in front of me here. Oh. And then that can go in here like so. Oh, I do like that. It's lovely and subtle. It's not a bright and in your face yellow. It's beautifully subtle. So just whack this wheel stupid. Shouty thing shouting at me. As you can see, if we go in there, there's not a great deal of detail you can see anyway. Once we button up, yeah, it's lovely and dark in there. We'll stick a pin wash in it, or a panel line wash. Pin wash, panel line wash, they're the same type of thing. We'll stick one in there anyway, just to be on the safe side. Well, if you've noticed, I've not actually buttoned that together properly yet. So I'm going to leave that one off for now. Like so. And then add this one in here, just so we can get an idea of what needs doing. Now this is still a little bit too dark for my liking, so we'll go over that in a second or two with the white grey again. Where's my cockpit? There's my cockpit. So it's got the cockpit front on. And I've got into bucket with a nice happy clunky click. Like so, there's a little nub just at the back here that I've failed to spot all the way through all the detail painting. How did that happen? Oh, look at that, that's lovely and busy. I do like that. I'll just pop that on the back there. So we get an idea of an idea now of what he's doing where, and you can see like there's a darker panel, a light panel, a darker panel. I like that. I do like that. So it's daft little things like that. Just take the eye away, and, you know, make it look like, you know, it's a fully working, you know, off fighting all the time type of vessel. So I'm happy enough with that. Strip all that down again now. We'll gloss varnish the pieces individually, and then, or will we? No, I'll strip that down now. Take the cockpit back out, gloss varnish everything. Hang on. So we'll gloss varnish everything now, and then we can come back with that pin wash and just bring out these little details here. Before we do, I need to paint a darker grey stripe just here. So again, just break everything down, and then we'll gloss varnish everything now, ready for these decals here. Now I've just done decals to death with the last project I've been working on. That helmet there, 17 separate decals. Yeah, and then the body that goes with it. There's something ridiculous like 30, 40 decals on there. It's driven me insane. Brilliant build, hell of a challenge, but that's the best part of, what, 4 days work? Something like that. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So, whilst all that's still fresh in my mind, we'll get those decals on and things like that. I'll talk you through the process of that. Just going very, very carefully, slicing my fingers open, pop this panel back off. Right, a couple of light coats of varnish later, gloss varnish that is. I keep going between, do I paint this or add the decal? I'm going to add the decal. So I'm going to hold off with the washes for the time being until we've got the decal on. Now if you are adding decals, do your block colours as you see them here first. Gloss varnish everything, add your decal and then start your weathering, and then that way you make the decals look like the part of the model then, rather than just being slaps over the top. So I'm just going to very quickly do a speed build on this. That's that, and what we'll do is add these decals like I say. Where's my knife? I've just got the knife, there's my knife. So I'll just trim these away from the sheet. Like so. Be very careful not to cut ourselves with very sharp cutting knives, because that will cut you and it will cut and make you bleed and ouchie and things like that. So I'm just going to get some water. Alright, so if you're after a full-blown proper tutorial on decals, have a look at the Yamaha build and the Rossi build. I'm just finishing off for another channel at the moment, and hopefully I remember to put these little taggy things up here somewhere. I'll put links in the description as well. I do a full-blown tutorial on both of those kits, because it's one and the same, to be honest. But here, it's literally going to be a quick and nasty thing, because it's only the two decals that we're working with. So it's literally going to be quick and nasty. What you'll need as well, if you can get hold of some, is Micro Set and Micro Sol, which are these lovely things here, Getting Shot Tony. So you got a setting solution and a setting solution. It's named the wrong way around. It's rubbish how they do it. We need two separate brushes for smoothing things over. I've got one bit of tape on here because that goes with bottle 1, and two bits of tape on here because it goes with bottle 2. So that's how I remember things. Tub of water, and it's a kind of warmth where it's nice and comfy, so if you stick your finger, this one here, in your mouth, and you think, oh, that's nice and warm, that's the kind of temperature there. So it's not too hot, not too cold, it's just right. It's Goldilocks, lad, it's Goldilocks. And we need decal number 1, which goes on the left hand side of the mush. Trim that little number away, because on these decal sheets, I've not actually used a Bandai decal sheet properly yet. Those little black numbers tend to float away in your thing with the stuff. What's it called? Water. Oh, my word. Clamping tweezers. Just give it a clamp like that, and literally face down into the wet stuff. Literally just get your paper wet, that's all you need. In a few moments that's going to start doing its thing and slide around on the paper. And if I grab my gloves, because I don't want to put any fingerprints on that decal at all. Especially when we start adding the softening solution. So if I take the bottle 1 with brush number 1, if I've any left. I used absolute gallons of that stuff on the Yamaha and Rossi builds. And it smells of white vinegar because that's basically what we used to use back in the day, the good old olden days. A bit of white vinegar. Bottle number 2 is basically X20A. So that's how we used to do it before these things came along, way back when. So I literally just coated that area there. As you can see, the decal's already moving for us. So be careful not to rip these. Literally just moved it along. Moving right along. But loose and fancy free. Now you've already got water on the decal sheet itself as well. Oh, lovely. So that'll be the water for you. And whilst we've still got the number 1 bottle solution, the Sol set. Always get those two mixed up, you know. Just going to very gently coax that decal into position, using our references to make sure everything's lined up. So it needs to be a little bit lower down. I think so. Right, I'm happy enough with that. Where it is. And a piece of kitchen roll. I'm just going to very gently, because that set will now be working on this decal to soften it a little bit. And you should be able to see that it's wrinkling around that lumpy dribble there, if we can get close enough in the right lighting. So it's actually taking the shape of that now. So you're going to squeeze the excess out, just gently dab, not scrubbing or anything like that. You can probably hear the tissue's actually trying to stick to the decal. There's a couple of little lumps and bumps here and there, and the pan lines as well. That's where this bottle comes in. So we'll leave that completely now to do its thing. And we'll grab this decal here, fall to the side. And we'll repeat the process on this one. Oops, without dropping it on the floor. That would be super. So it's literally just dip it in, get it wet, make your own jokes. And without touching that decal there, I'm just going to add the set again to the model. And so I've just finished doing a what have I done so far? I'm currently editing episode 11 for the Rossi figure. And we ended up doing, I think it was 17 parts altogether for, oops, dropping stuff everywhere, the bike that goes with the figure. These decals here were an absolute pig because of the complex curves. Absolute pig. Well worth the effort, as you can hopefully see. Yeah, that's one of the best kits I've ever made, and I'm genuinely happy with the finish that I've achieved with it. A lot of hard work, but that hard work was definitely worth it in the end. But I am absolutely sick to death of seeing decals now. Especially after that helmet for the Rossi figure. Ridiculous amount of decals involved. Cool, like that. Right, let's give that a quick work with the brush. Like so. And again, just very gently dab with the tissue, just to get the moisture away from underneath. And again, you'll feel it gripping because of the way the set works with the decal. It's actually softening that decal down now. It's a nice subtle hint. So I'm just going to draw that table line. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there's any other decals need to go on the mush. Now, there is a little TIE fighter that goes at the front. This is third scene, and we've got number 15s there. I think that's it. And no, I'm not doing this. That's too much messing, that is. That's far too much messing. So I've got 15s. Which is literally little black shapes. No, I'm painting those on. So just fan with a knife. Keep rolling. Like so. A teeny little decal. Just go into that number. Now for something this small, what I found on the Rossi build was that if I just take the brush straight into the set bottle, and then on the back of the decal just wet it, leave that for a few minutes, that actually releases the decal, or it did do on the Rossi decals. Now the number 15 stickers that go, well, decals even, that go down the sides here, I'm going to paint those. That's a bit too far. It's going to make me out to be a liar, this, isn't it? One thing I haven't spoken about so far is the gloss varnish. It not only helps your decal slide around a little bit, it also helps create surface tension, so that when we apply the decal to the model, science happens, which I can't quite explain because I don't have the knowledge to explain it. And every time I do try and explain it, it just doesn't work. But basically, it's the kind of thing that when you hold, you've probably seen this hopefully at school, you take a cup of water, fill it right to the top, slip a piece of card over the top, and then tip it all upside down. Ooh, tip it all upside down over some Charlie's head. Oops, knock stuff over. Take your hand away, and that piece of paper stays there. That's surface tension. It's kind of like a vacuum effect, but in fluid. I don't quite understand myself. If you've any 13-year-olds in the family, they're probably studying that at the moment, so ask them to explain it for you. It's quite a cool little concept. That's basically what the gloss varnish does. So I'm just going to very gently dab that, like so. Just going to dry that brush there. Put it off completely off to one side, and then take the number 2 bottle, the Sol. Whilst that one's drying, it's not quite square on, but I don't care, it's quirky. Obviously if you want it square, then you do so. That's not how I work. I don't like neat in order. So I'm literally just with the number 2 brush. I'm not going to flood the area, but you can see this, it's wet, I've got stuff on there. What this will do now is It'll react with the decal. Cheaper decals, I've not actually done this with a Bandai decal yet. On cheaper decals, you'll actually see the decal wrinkle up like that, and it'll settle back down again after about 10-20 minutes. And whilst it's happening, it looks wrong, and you start panicking. You think it's ruined. It's not. Leave it to do its thing. It will settle back. If it hasn't done after 10 or 20 minutes, just run some more over. Now it is actually wrinkling this decal a little bit. Just there. I don't think I'll be able to show you that. Or will I? But just there it's actually wrinkling. It's doing a couple there here as well, where there's no lumps and bumps. That's actually a flat surface, but it's curling up like that a little bit, and then it'll settle back down. That's part of the surface tension thing as well. It'll actually bed down better. But what this is also happening, here we go, just these 3 lines here, it's actually taking those beautifully. It's actually settling into the little valleys of the panel lines, and that's exactly what we're after. So we'll give that about 10 minutes to do its thing. We'll come back and have a look at how they're going, then we'll run another layer over, leave that for a few minutes, and then we're just going to very gently tease them into the panel lines. Right, so look at this now. Right, so 10 minutes later, it's taken on a few lumps and bumps of the greeblies. It's not quite sitting into these panel lines just yet. So we're going to repeat the process with the red bottle. So number 2 brush with the 2 pieces of red tape, and we're literally just going to coat over the top again. And again on the other side. And leave that again for another 10 minutes or so whilst it's drying and doing its thing. And I'll have another look at what that's doing. And it's basically just repeating the process until you're happy with it. Complex curves, you'll need this one more. On flat surfaces, you'll need this one. The complex surfaces, I'll show you now. Let's say I go through this properly with the build itself on the Amiha. It's basically to try and catch this curve here. Just try and get myself sorted out a little bit. Clear that, clear that. Don't touch the stuff whilst it's melting, the decals. As you can see there's like a proper little curve, so it comes from underneath, wraps around, and then back up into a crescent. And it was an absolute pig on both sides. Now to do that, I had to absolutely coat it with the number 1 bottle, but if you coat it too much, you'll actually start dissolving your decal. So you've got to be careful how you do it, and you'll get a feel for it as you're working with it. And you're running over with your brush, you'll actually feel your brush starting to drag. At that point, walk away, leave it to do its thing, and let it settle. Let it dry completely before you have another go at it. On flat surfaces, like I say, you'll rely on bottle number 2, the Sol, more than anything. Oh! It's just a process of just repeating yourself all the way through. As you can see there now, that's actually starting to evaporate. So we've still got a little bit of shine because it's still a little bit wet. So whilst it's like that, I'm just going to very gently, very carefully, just take a cocktail stick and just run through that panel line just a tiny little bit, just to help it a little bit settle into that curve there. It's not a curve at all, is it? It's a panel line. That's because I've been talking about curves so much on those other 2 builds. So there's hardly any pressure there at all on that decal. Running through the lines. Just help it around the greebly as well. You can still see little puddles there on that side. I obviously drag the decal a little there, that's not a problem. quite gone off enough on this side yet, but that's fine. That's fine. We're going to add some damage to this anyway. We're going to add some chips over the top just to weather it back a little bit. Okay, leave that again for about 5 minutes whilst it's carrying on drying, and we'll come back with one last coat of that. I think that should do it. This is where we are at the moment, so we're still waiting for the gunk wash to dry in some of the spangs and somewhere else as well. I did a gunk wash somewhere else. And we've still got a fair amount of weathering to do on this. I'm not leaving it like that. There's going to be a lot more of them, a few more different techniques, but we'll cover that next time. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. I'll try and get my words out properly in a minute and put my teeth in and stop like that every 2 bloody minutes. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. It's that simple. Thank you so much for stopping by, dropping your ideas and what have you, and things like that. I'm going to go lie down now because I'm feeling really poorly, as you can probably hear. It's not nice. I don't like this. It's just snuck up on me also. This is how the zombie apocalypse starts.